Alright folks, how are you doing? So let's have a look at this scene here in Braveheart, the introduction of Stephen the Irishman.
Him, that can't be William Wallace. I'm prettier than this man. All right, Father, I'll ask him.
Now, the real Stephen of Ireland, if you go through the Wallace, he wasn't really in it that much, but he is one of the very early supporters of Wallace, because after he's declared an outlaw, Wallace goes to basically the only place he possibly can go in the whole of Britain, which is the Lennox, which is kind of the rougher area of the Highlands where the English fear to tread. And a lot of Irish refugees had gone over to the Lennox because they were kin with the Lennoxmen, who were the Highlanders, who were undoubtedly Gaels, probably Dalriadans and Britons, things like that. Some of the more ancient peoples to inhabit Britain at that time. And Wallace gained a natural following in the Lennox because of his early triumphs and victories over the English, so he quite readily gathered a following, and because he was good friends with Earl Malcolm, who was the overall Earl of the whole Lennox area. So basically Wallace, kind of like Robin Hood, Wallace was Robin Hood, but according to most of the kind of legends of Robin Hood, he gained his start with outlaws.
If I risk my neck for you, will I get a chance to kill Englishmen?
Well, in the context of the story, this is a really silly question, because Wallace has already killed Englishmen, quite a few Englishmen. That's why he's in the Lennox in the first place. But,
Is your father a ghost? Or do you converse with the Almighty?
In order to find his equal, an Irishman is forced to talk to God. Yes, Father. The Almighty says, don't change the subject, just answer the fucking question.
Mind your tongue.
Now, the real Stephen of Ireland's personality, we don't really know a lot about it, but he wasn't like this. He wasn't completely fucking crazy, because he was one of the early lieutenants of William Wallace in real life and was highly trusted. He was basically the leader of the Irish contingent of Wallace's followers.
Insane Irish.
Now, if you pulled a knife on one of Wallace's followers right in front of him like that, Irish or not, you'd be fucking dead.
Smart enough to get a dagger past your guards, old man.
That's my friend, Irishman. And the answer to your question is yes. You fight for me, you get to kill the English.
This is obviously just comic relief, and it's pretty ridiculous, but it's entertaining. So I guess we just kind of give it a pass.
Excellent! Stephen is my name.
And Stephen of Ireland is the only one of the real Wallace's lieutenants who we actually get in Braveheart. We don't get Earl Malcolm, we don't get Sir John the Graham, Sir John Ramsay, which is a huge shame. Adam Wallace, Robert Boyd. We could have done with those characters. And Stephen is not really, frankly, that important. He's kind of in and out of the poem. He's in the early stages of the minstrel's account, and then he just kind of fades off into the background, so we don't even really know what happened to him.
I'm the most wanted
What probably happened is at some point he just went back to Ireland.
man on my island. Except I'm not on my island, of course. More's the pity.
Which almost sounds like a poem. That's actually based upon the poem, the Scots poem, Here's to us, wha's like us, damn few and they're all dead, more's the pity. In other words, here's to us, who's like us, damn few and they're all dead. More's the pity, more's the shame. Which is kind of bittersweet and melodic, but I'm guessing that's what it's based upon, because it sounds like it. It sounds phonetically similar.
Your island? You mean Ireland?
Yeah, it's mine.
I love this look on his face, because Ireland was not the real name of Ireland, but that's subject for another time.
You're a madman.
So this is an Irish actor pretending to be Scottish, and this is a Scottish actor pretending to be Irish. But,
I've come to the right place then.
Now, I do like this depiction of Wallace as a hunter with a bow, because in real life, that was his personal seal, was that of a bow and arrow. And this is how the real Scots, certainly in the early days, your pre-Battle of Stirling Bridge or Battle of Begar days, this is how the Scots would live. They would just live off the land. Like right after the Battle of Loudon Hill, for example. They spent 3 weeks in a Clydewood. And this is such a well shot scene. I love it. You know, the cinematography is great. The tension's excellent. Mel Gibson, you know, he's a really talented director. I'll give him that. Now, this character here is based on a real character called Fodden, who was an Irishman who, you know, fought alongside Wallace and Stephen of Ireland, but he was known to not be very trustworthy. And in real life, it went down a lot more dramatic than this. The Scots were on the run. The Scots and their Irish allies, I should really say, were on the run outside of St. Johnston, which was modern-day Perth, the ancient capital. And they were out fighting this desperate battle in the woods, and this Fodden character, who was bigger and stronger than most of the Scots and the Irish, you know, he was saying, "Oh, I can't go on, I'm too tired." And that made Wallace very, very suspicious of him. So Wallace decided, I'm either going to have to leave him behind, and he's probably going to go over to the English and sell us out, or I'm just going to have to behead him. And he did the latter because he just didn't trust him. You know, he recognised that he was a mercenary, he was out for himself, and he was probably going to snitch. And I love this setup here, where it looks like Stephen's, you know, gonna do something to Wallace here. And you just at the last minute see Fodden. This is a truncated clip, but if you watch the full thing in the movie, he introduces himself as Fodden. That's how you know Mel Gibson and Randall Wallace read the source material, because they're using direct names out of it, but the story and the setup's very different. And to be honest here, Stephen's kind of lucky that Wallace didn't shoot him. But there's hardly much time to explain that, is there? You know.
Sure, didn't the Almighty send me to watch your back? I didn't like him anyway. He wasn't right in the head.
Well, that's very funny, but it's not really accurate. The real reason why, by the way, it wasn't Stephen, like I said, who killed Fodden. It was actually Wallace himself. He took on the responsibility. And Wallace just flat out beheaded him on the spot, said, "This guy's not trustworthy." Had to make a judgment call, so he made it. But it does establish Stephen of Ireland's character in the movie as kind of like the sidekick and the comedy relief and all the rest of it. In fact, in real life, Stephen of Ireland was nowhere near this crazy, because him and another guy, I think his name was Curly if I remember right, him and another guy decided on their own initiative to stay behind among all the Scots and the English and the Irish dead, and they snuck up Assassin's Creed style on the English commanders and killed them amidst all the chaos and the confusion, because they disguised themselves as English soldiers and blended in and assassinated some of the key figures. And plus the Scots and the Irish were being pursued by the sleuth hound. That was another reason why Wallace beheaded Fodden, was to get the goddamn hound off their trail. And, you know, that worked as well. That was one of the means by which they managed to get the hound, you know, to stop following them, because the hound was leading the English directly onto their position. And so with all the chaos and confusion that Curly and Stephen caused amongst the English ranks by blending in and killing strategic leaders like sergeants and captains and all the rest of it, they managed to buy the other Scots and Irish time to get away. And by the way, they never told Wallace they were going to do that. Wallace thought they were killed in the fighting. He only learned much later on, days later, that Curly and Stephen had taken it upon themselves to even do that. But he was damn lucky that they did, because it probably saved his life. And these two in real life, Stephen and Wallace, were very, very good friends. Anyway, I hope that you have enjoyed this analysis.